Hey everybody, welcome back to the Castos YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about a very popular microphone, the Blue Yeti, which plugs in through USB and is one of the very first microphones I started using as a podcaster, and it's still a very popular selection today. There's a few things that I've seen, and one thing that I fell guilty to in the early days of using the Blue Yeti microphone that I want to address today. So if you are using this microphone, stay tuned. We're going to talk about some ways to enhance the audio quality, and it's very easy. It's really easy. It won't cost you a lot of money and won't be technically challenging. I'm recording right now on the Shure SM7B, but we're going to switch over to the Blue Yeti right now. Okay, so now we're on the Blue Yeti, plugged in through USB. At the top of the video, I said it only plugs in through USB. It plugs in through XLR too, which is why this is a very popular microphone. Its price, its look and feel. It comes with a stand, and it has the flexibility of USB and XLR. It's got other features too, like you can plug your headphones into it and monitor the sound directly. And there's different ways to set and adjust the pickup pattern, which we'll talk about in a moment. So first and foremost, can you tell the difference already from the way this sounds versus when I recorded at the top of the video with a much more expensive setup with the microphone right near my mouth? That is tip number one with this microphone. I have it about maybe 1.5 feet away from my mouth. It's sort of off to like my 11 o'clock-ish, which is how I feel most people use this when they're doing Zoom meetings, recording podcasts, doing live streams. I feel like this is probably the most common setup for the Blue Yeti because it comes with this mic stand, so naturally people say, well, I'll just set it up right here. Sometimes people will also put it right in front of them to adjust the sound. So if I were to just pick this microphone up and move it closer to the source of the sound, which in this case is my mouth, I don't have my desk right here, but you could probably already start to hear a better quality sound. It might not be super dramatic. I'm not monitoring this as I'm saying it, but it should sound a little bit better. And this is something that is true for any kind of microphone. So whether or not you have the Blue Yeti at $129-ish or a $600 setup like I have with the Shure SM7B or a $50 microphone, the closer you can get a microphone to the source, the better the sound will be, hopefully. Now, there are other things that you can do with the Blue Yeti to make it sound better. And the other thing that you want to pay attention to is adjusting the gain to be correct to where it's positioned. So I'm going to jump into GarageBand really quick. And you can see, I'm just going to hit record. And as I begin to talk, the waveform will begin to appear. And it looks like a decent waveform. Now, I'm not an audio engineer, but what you really want to pay attention to is, well, how good does it look? Am I clipping a lot? Which, if you look in the left-hand corner where the equalizer or the pickup pattern stereo is, one of the things that you'll look for is you don't want it to hit red. If I'm in the yellow a lot, then we're pretty good. We're hitting a good peak most of the time. And the waveform looks good. I remember when I started out podcasting, I didn't know anything. So the gain was really low, the microphone was really far away, and then it was just tiny little waveform, and then I always had to, boost it up in post-production. Okay? But if I adjust the boost on the back, the gain on the back of the Blue Yeti, and we crank it up a little bit higher there, the microphone is now hotter, and you can see that the waveform is much larger now in most aspects, but it probably sounds worse, maybe just a little bit. I mean, I don't have the best treated room. There's not a lot of background noise, but it sounds hotter to you right now. I've also normalized this in post-production, so it might be not so dramatic, but you can just see visually the waveform is filling up a lot more. Now, if we were to bring this microphone closer to our voice or closer to the source, what we'd want to do is bring that gain down. So I've adjusted the gain now probably to the 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock position, and you can see that the waveform in GarageBand is a lot smaller now, even though this has been moved like a foot closer to my mouth. But the overall quality of the sound probably sounds better. And this is probably the best thing you can do with the Blue Yeti. When it's a foot away or something like that, what it's going to do is start picking up on all the reverb that's happening around your room. And this audio quality, now that it's closer, we're bringing the gain down. It won't be picking up on all of that background noise. It won't sound so expanded with the audio. It should sound a little bit richer now. And getting this microphone as close to your mouth is really going to make the sound better. Okay, so now I am probably going to make many of you that purchased the Blue Yeti very sad. We got rid of the most iconic piece of the microphone, which is probably the stand in most cases. It's a very heavy stand. It looks pretty cool. Makes you feel like a podcaster. Get rid of it. I switched to a microphone stand. There's a couple options that you can do. You can get this microphone stand made by Frameworks. It's actually for being on the floor for like drums, microphones near a drum set. But I really like it because it's sort of compact. It's got enough customization where I can bring it up or down depending on what I'm doing. It's got a nice heavy base so that it doesn't tip over if I have different microphones on it. So getting rid of that built-in stand, getting it closer to the source, which is what we just noticed or we just proved in the top of this video. And you can get another microphone stand, like a $30 Amazon Basics microphone stand will work as well. Now, let's just talk the pickup patterns. One of the things that I've, again, messed up when I first got this microphone is talking the wrong pickup pattern or talking into the microphone with the wrong pickup pattern. I'm going to hit record in GarageBand. And then we should see a nice waveform now that this is closer to our mouth. Should sound pretty good compared to where it was when it was on the desk. Let's just see what happens when I start talking into the microphone on this side and seeing visually what happens to the waveform. You can see it really dip down there, but you should be able to notice probably a difference in audio quality now. And now if I bring myself back around to this side, this is probably the most foolish thing you've ever seen. We can also hear a difference in the audio sound. If I switch the pickup pattern to fully around the microphone, this pickup pattern on this side should sound better. It should sound good as if I were, on this side of the microphone. This is another selling point of this microphone is that if you are doing, a group podcast, you don't have multiple microphones, then you could argue that this is a good solution for that. But what we've just noticed is that we have to be really close to make this sound like a really, really good microphone in most cases. If you need it in a pinch or in a COVID world where you need to be socially distanced, you're not going to have a co-host right here on the other side. So understanding the pickup patterns of the Blue Yeti is important. Yes, you can make the argument that, again, in a pinch, it's going to sound way better than maybe you're trying to do a Zoom call with a group of people and you just have a laptop out and you're just trying to pick up the laptop microphone. This will certainly be better, all things considered, with people 6 feet apart across a table or something like that. But understanding that the pickup patterns and where they are, I still think that the best pickup pattern is directly on the front, right above the blue icon logo. But you can see, again, if I just talk directly into it on the side, it's going to be picking up a lot of sound, probably the reverb around it. So talking directly into it again is okay with this setting. But if I adjust it back, we'll immediately be able to tell that difference when talking into the top. So the Blue Yeti pickup pattern directly on the front is how I most use it. Either way, it has to be on the wide side, not directly on top. Okay, before we close this video out, let's just do a quick comparison of this microphone versus the Shure SMB7 or SM7B setup that I have, and we'll just listen to a quick reading here. Microphone, an instrument for converting sound waves into electrical energy variations, which may then be amplified, transmitted, or recorded. Microphone, an instrument for converting sound waves into electrical energy variations, which may then be amplified, transmitted, or recorded. This is the Shure SM7B, which has a fathead decibel amplifier going into a Mackie FX8 Pro version 2 digital audio device, which also has an equalizer on it, which I equalize a little bit to offset some of my own personal voice imperfections for the microphone. I've also done a video comparison of a few other microphones in that same sort of shootout scenario. You can hear me record a podcast using my cell phone, using my laptop, using earbuds, using this microphone, the Blue Yeti, using another $100 microphone from Audio-Technica. I'll link that in the description below as well so you can hear the differences. Look, at the end of the day, this is still a fantastic microphone to get started with, if not just use indefinitely. I know there's a lot of purists out there that say that you can get much better value than the Blue microphone, which, I still agree. I think the Audio-Technica ATR 2100 USB microphone, which I don't have in reach right now, but I also featured in that video, it does sound better. For the price tag. I think that one's $94. This one chimes in at about $130, depending on where you're buying it from. But it does have flexibility. If you're traveling, if the stand is useful and you can get it as close to you as possible, then by all means use it. I was just hoping to show you a few quick tips to actually make it sound a little bit better, and not just throw it away and say, well, now I have to spend $400 and get something like a Shure SM7B. In a pinch, especially in these Zoom worlds where everyone's doing this video conferencing thing with friends, family, coworkers, like putting this in the center of a room or on a table so that family members can gather around, it's going to sound better than the microphone on your laptop or on your iPhone. If you're into these social audio platforms like a Clubhouse and there's a bunch of people in the room, again, it's still a good solution for those types of scenarios. So I wouldn't discount it just yet. Yeah, we can get better with the audio quality. You probably hear a better audio quality setup with this one, but do you really need to spend the $600 versus the $130, on a microphone like this? I hope you found today's video helpful. If you are looking to start your podcast, well, check out Castos.com. If you want to learn how to be a better podcaster in terms of making content, sticking with a podcast, coming up with content ideas, register for our free academy, academy.castos.com. That's academy.castos.com. Register for free. Thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want more stuff like this. We'll see you in the next video.